Just before I start, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which I'm meeting with you today, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Budja, and pay my respect to elders past and present. Thanks. Over to you, Mark.
Justin, can you give us an update on Alex Pearce, Michael Walters, Matt Tamanner and Sam Switkowski?
Pearce is going to be a little bit slow in the week. He's given that ankle another probably decent tweak. Expect him to put his hand up to play, but we'll see how he feels today, and he'll have to go through he'll have to tick a fair few boxes before we get there. Sonny comes out of health and safety protocols later today. He'll get a session in. We'll see how he pulls up. And he'll be touch and go. We expect Sam to do full training today and play. And Tabs needs to tick off full training before he puts his hand up. So we're confident he will do that. But until he does, we won't declare him.
Is there any temptation, given Alex's injury history, just to sit him down for a week and make sure he gets that ankle right?
If we thought it was going to be of benefit to have a week off, we'd consider it. But that's not what the doctors are saying. So he might need, one week off might not help.
So is it a case of, is this related to his injury history at all? Is it just soreness and something he's going to have to manage? Or?
Yeah, it's just soreness and something he's going to have to manage. He hasn't. It's not related to previous injuries. So he's just going to have to manage it throughout the year. And
when players previously have come out of health and safety protocols as late in the week as Michael is going to, your tendency has been to safety first and rest them. Is that a consideration with Michael?
Yeah, it's a consideration. We definitely won't take any risks with him. And unless he's 100% ready to go, we won't play him. So it is such an individual case-by-case situation and how it affects. He's got a treadmill at home. By all reports, he's been training pretty well and pulling up well. So today won't be his first run and first blow. So, but we still need to see and make sure that he pulls up well from it. So we'll just have to play that by ear.
I know it's not this week, Justin, but how much planning have you put in at this stage to how you bring back the skipper?
A little bit, we'll keep working through that. He's going to ramp up his training today, full team train. He'll join in 18 on 18 and I think we'll just see how he gets through the first couple of weeks of being in full train, and then we'll work out what's the best plan for him to return to the team.
As far as, I guess, his excitement levels and keenness to get back into the team, what are you seeing from him, given how the team's been going so far?
Oh, yeah, he's doing everything he can to be a part of it, and wants to get back and lead the best way he does, and that's by example on the field. So, he's really keen to get back and play whatever role he can to help the team move forward.
A couple just quickly on Blake Acres and his season so far. What do you think's been the key to him playing the way he's been playing?
I think, first of all, it's investing in role. And I think he's gone to work on what we want from him in role, and he's been able to really produce that week in, week out. And I think he's week to week he's been able to come back to what's really important in his game and those things and the things that we value in his game, and that comes back to his role in both offense and defense. His execution of basics and trying to bring his teammates into the game more when he's got ball in hand. So, he's had a really consistent year so far.
And when you look at, I guess, your structure and the way that you want to play as a team, how important do you think he is in that now?
I think the wing roles are critical in modern day footy. Not necessarily getting a lot of the ball all the time, but they do help your structure a lot. And players who buy into that and are willing to do whatever the team needs, no matter whether they're going to get the ball or not, are really important. And he's been one of those players this year for us.
Beauty. Thanks, Justin. I'll hand over.
Thanks, mate.
Justin, Paddy Sweeney, just quickly on Nat Fyfe. I imagine he's been ticked off structurally fine, but is it more just sort of trying to get 2 weeks of training loads into him now?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's trying to get footy fitness into him as much as anything. And then you can do as much as you like in rehab, and we do a really good job of setting up scenarios in rehab to replicate a game. But unless you get out there, against 18 other players, you get bash and crash from all different areas. It's hard to replicate that. So yeah, he'll get that over the next couple of weeks and get his footy fitness up, and yeah, hopefully we can, once we get him in there, he'll trust the work that he's done, and he can be a really consistent player for us for the rest of the year.
In terms of management of Nat, is he completely pain-free at the moment, or is that something he might have to play through the second half of the year?
I don't think he's pain-free. He's got a few little bits and pieces and niggles going on, and I don't want to speak on his behalf because I haven't asked him that question, but I'd imagine he's very rarely going to be pain-free.
Beautiful. So it's more just sort of that mental side with him to obviously embrace that and obviously play through it as he's done for the majority of his career, and also that physical test in the next fortnight. That's the final test, so to speak. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep, and he's worked through pain his whole career, and I'm guessing that'll be the same. And I'm not necessarily talking about his shoulder either. There, structurally, his shoulder's been good to go for a while. He's had to deal with a few other niggles that are well spoken about over the last couple of months.
In terms of conditions-wise, obviously last week it was quite extraordinary, the humidity and the downpour there as well. Expected to have wet conditions again on Sunday. Have you been able to change anything in terms of game plan or tweaks to actually try and get that skill execution back to where it's been for the majority of this season?
Well, we haven't yet. We'll train today. I think it has to be recognised. We did a bit right last week. I had to get 30 plus inside 50s, play the game in our front half for plus 20 something minutes. A lot of what we did was okay. It was execution of the basics under in the conditions and under their pressure. And we spoke about the missed opportunities to bring our teammates into the game. And I think the big one was just the composure with ball in hand. You still, the more you rush in wet conditions, the more error can be brought into your disposal and execution. So spoken about hanging onto the ball a little bit longer like we would in a dry, and being a little bit more creative to make more of those inside 50s. There's a few things that weren't conditions dependent though, like we didn't work hard enough to support our backs, and there's a few things we need to get right and get back to our best in, but they weren't weather dependent.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
G'day, JL. It's Chatters here. Just further to what you said there, I guess a few people have questions whether you guys can handle the wet. Do you feel like you guys have a point to prove on that front?
Well, point to prove, no. But yeah, do we need to improve in those conditions? Yeah, absolutely. I suppose it's something that we don't get to play in a lot. I mean, we've had poor wet condition games in the past, and those games have been stuck in our back half, haven't been able to get anything going in our front half, haven't been able to get the ball in our front half and keep it there. So we did improve on certain areas, but you shouldn't lose when you get 65 inside 50s to 35. So we need to make more of that. A lot of that comes down to our composure with ball in hand. So we'll continue to work and educate and make sure we approach the game with the right mindset.
And on Collingwood, what have you made of them this season, and where are they most dangerous?
Yeah, they're a dangerous team. They really get a lot of speed off the contest. Really impressed with their ball movement, especially out of their back half. They look to get their handball going and run and carry, which is really dangerous, and they're bringing really good pressure all over the ground. But especially in their front half, which is holding the ball there, and they're getting those repeat entries off that. So yeah, it's going to be a good challenge for us this week.
And just on what you said about Nat Fyfe earlier, Can you talk a bit about his mental strength? Because he has had so many injuries over his career, but he still goes as hard as ever. Can you talk a bit about just the mental strength that he possesses?
Well, he's just a really resilient character, and he's a pro. He works really hard to get his body right up to its, I suppose, highest standard he can get it at, and then once he does that, he just prepares with what he's got, and that is his mental strength, I suppose, to be able to withstand the fatigue and soreness, to be able to go out there and perform his role. And once you get out there on the field, the game doesn't really care how you feel. It's about what you do. So he's been able to put a lot of injury niggles behind him in the past and surgeries, and come back and play his best footy. And we're really confident he can do that this time.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that.
Justin, can I just ask you how important a player Sam Sulkowski has become for you, and how much you missed him last week?
Yeah, he's become a really important player. He obviously, I think the thing that he's well regarded in is his ability to pressure and harass the opposition. But I'm really starting to see the offensive side of his game come out, and he's one player who shows really good composure in those contested ball situations for us to be able to go inside to out. He's a really good forward 50 stoppage player. So I think we had 26 forward 50 stoppages last week and didn't make much of them either, and he would have really thrived in under those conditions. So we missed him. He's recovered really well from his concussion, and hopefully we get him back this week.
And you don't want to read too much into a loss last week, but how important is it against Collingwood and players like John DeGoey that perhaps haven't hit their straps so far this season?
Oh, I don't know about hasn't hit his straps. He's played some really good footy, and he's been a really dangerous threat around centre bounce, stoppage, and drifting forward and hitting the scoreboard. So, they've got a good mix. Collingwood of senior players and younger players that are coming through, with the support of those older players leading the way. So, it'd be a great challenge for us. They've obviously changed their brand of footy this year compared to what they had in my time in the last couple of years. So, it's a new challenge.